Thabo Bester and the 11 people accused of helping him escape are in court today in Bloemfontein, charged with various crimes including fraud, corruption and helping a prisoner escape, starting a fire and desecrating a body. Senior reporter Silindelo Masikane, hello again to you. What are we expecting for those who weren't with us earlier this morning?
Good morning. We are expecting 12 people, including Thabo Bester, to make their way back to the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court, where we are expecting to hear whether or not we're any closer to a trial date. Now, their last appearance was back in August, of course, which had social media abuzz. We saw Bester and Nandipa sitting together in the dock, reunited, some would say, for the first time since their deportation from Tanzania. They arrived in matching outfits, they were holding hands, they were seen having an intimate conversation, and of course this had a lot of people talking with regard to their alleged relationship. Now, subsequent to that appearance, we have seen Nandipa Magutumana fighting for her freedom. She has been trying to be released on bail. She applied here in the Magistrate's Court back in September. Her bail application was denied, the magistrate saying that she could possibly facilitate another escape, that she was a flight risk, but also, of course, pointing out that she had the necessary means to be able to evade justice. But what was quite surprising in her bail application was, for the first time, I think, what we were hearing in terms of her possible defense when this matter goes to trial, where she claims that she was kidnapped by Bester and forced to leave the country not of her free will. But to just unpack what we could expect in terms of some legal analysis, I am joined by legal expert Mr. Mpumelelo Zikalala. Thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. Perhaps let's just talk about what we can expect today. I'm hearing rumors of another indictment. I'm hearing that there's a possibility that Bester will be coming to court with a new lawyer. How much closer do you think we are to this matter actually going to trial, or whether or not we could possibly see more arrests?
Good morning to you and also to your viewers. I think we are quite far away. Remember that this is a very important matter, and I don't think it's going to be heard and tried within the Magistrate Court. So the sooner we go to the High Court, that's when it would be telltale signs of saying that we are now ready to rock and roll in terms of this particular matter. Even the new indictment in the final charge sheet will come even then. So what's going to happen today is just a determination of the state of readiness, especially from the side of the state. How far are you with your investigations? Can we move this matter over to the High Court? If we do so, then we'll be a step closer to getting the first witness into the witness box. But up until this matter is moved to the High Court, then we'll still be going around in circles as it is being done now. But it is the job of the presiding officer to then say, as a state, are you moving at a snail's pace, or are you doing all you can to make sure that you're able to gather this evidence? I'm using the tools in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, Section 342, capital A, to determine any unreasonable delay if it needs be. But for now, let me hear what you have to say. And if I feel that you are moving at a normal pace, it's circumstances beyond your control, then I would accede to the various postponements that you might seek. But if I think that you are not doing all that we need to do, I may remand this matter for and mark it final, and make sure that when you come back on the next occasion, you've got all your ducks in a row, the matter is ready to be moved to the High Court.
Now, looking at those who are accused and those who've been released on bail, we've got, of the 12 people who have been implicated, we've got 9 people out or who've been released on bail, who are, of course, suspended and former G4S prison personnel. Do we make any inferences on the strength of the state's case with regards to the fact that we've got 9 out of 12 people that have been released on bail?
No, not at all. You must remember that when it comes to bail processes, something which is completely different. The court would look at something of saying that, are you going to come back if you release you on bail? Just so when it comes to the innocent guilt of that particular individual, it doesn't matter at the stage. Yes, it may have a certain ground when it comes to the merits. It's something that the court would look at, but it is not the only determining factor. So we shouldn't really focus on the amount of people which are out on bail, because the assessment of whether they should be released on bail is not the same assessment which is going to be utilized when determining whether that person is innocent or guilty. What must be recognized, or what I've noticed, is that a number of people are getting bail when they go to the High Court, which moves to the situation of saying maybe the Magistrate Court may have been a bit too harsh or misdirected itself when considering that bail application of the other individuals, to such an extent that they need to go to the High Court first before they are released on bail.
Perhaps then lastly, Mr. Zikalala, moving forward, is there a possibility that we could see more charges being added? You would remember we had that murder charge relating to the body that was planted in the body that was withdrawn by the state. As the dominus litis, from what I understand the state is, do they have that option to add charges at any point before we go to trial?
Definitely they do. In fact, the doors of adding charges opened up until the final indictment of the charges are placed in front of them. So up until they stand up and the prosecutor says to them, you are hereby charged with the following charges, their states can chop and change the charges as they so wish, depending, of course, of the type of evidence that they have. The stronger the evidence, the stronger the chances of coming out with the guilty verdict is what the state is going to utilize to determine whether we should place or prefer these charges on this particular individual. So at this stage, the charges as they are put to the accused are not contained in the closed list. They can be added, they can be removed and amended up until they are asked to plead. And I don't think they'll be asked to plead within this stage. That is something that will only be done in the High Court when the matter is moved over to the High Court to be tried.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. That is legal expert Mr. Mpumelelo Zikalala, just giving us some analysis ahead of court proceedings, which we are expecting to start just after 9 a.m. this morning. I'm going to ask my colleague Joko Mani to just give you a visual of what we're seeing outside court right now. And what you can see in front of you is that we've got at least 2 of the accused who've been released on bail, who've already made their way to the magistrate's court. So you're looking at Nastasia Janssen as well as Tabang Mir. They are suspended, as well as former G4S employees, prison personnel who were implicated in this escape saga. They will be joined by the other accused who've been released on bail, who will be making their way to court. This, of course, also includes Nandi Pamakutumana's father, Zolile Sekeleni, who was one of the first of the accused to be released on bail. So we will be monitoring the developments outside court as the accused start arriving and bringing you those live visuals as court proceedings begin.
Yeah, and I think he saw that you were pointing the camera directly at him. He wasn't particularly impressed. We'll come back to you again later this morning, 9 a.m. Silindelo Masikane, thank you very much indeed.